Hi, my name is Nigel Flynn and I'm a client manager at Actemium. Actemium is the industrial division of Vinci Energies. We have 450 business units worldwide and 25,000 employees with a global approach to deliver value to our customers. Actemium Industrial Automation Toronto in Canada employs over 150 experts. At Actemium Toronto, we provide services in automation, MES, system integration, and project engineering and technical services for our clients in a wide variety of industries. Our mission is to help our clients accelerate their industrial performance for a better world by empowering people and driving sustainable progress. We had been working with Trioworld for many years in delivering projects in controls and automation, IT/OT. But through one discovery session, we learned more about the challenges they had around production scheduling.
I'm Paul Bastos. I'm the IT and Automation Manager at Trioworld. Our facility here in Ajax, we deal with cast stretch film, which is used for load stability and transportation. Being a manufacturing facility, scheduling is the most difficult area we have in our facility. Our scheduling is very complex. There's a lot of dependencies, and often the visibility to what's going on in the schedule has been a challenge. It needs to be understood by all parties, management down to production staff. We were looking for a solution to help us bridge the gap and get us a simplified solution to schedule.
And as we learned more about these issues, we thought that a software solution could really aid them through this process.
My name is Catherine Fowler, and I'm a software specialist here at Actemium Toronto. I work on the MES team with Nigel. Nigel came through and he asked me, after seeing the troubles that Trioworld has been having, he said, can we do something for them? Maybe in Ignition? Can we maybe go so far as to automate scheduling for them? And I took a look and I went, actually, yeah, I think we can. I'm willing to try. And so we kicked off the project in earnest. The very first thing that we did is we went and we talked to the schedulers at Trioworld and other stakeholders there. And we asked them, how do you currently go about this? What drives the decisions that you guys make and how you currently schedule?
As we understood more, we learned about their production scheduling process. This started with customer service, which would take orders, enter them into ERP, and then print the orders out manually to take to the schedulers. A scheduler would take these orders, go through them, and then assign them as they see fit. Some Excel tools were used to visualize the existing schedule, but there was no connection to the plant floor for real-time information. There was also a handbook of rules that the schedulers needed to consider when putting a schedule together. They would place these orders in cubbies for operators to then take to the production lines later on during execution. But the act of scheduling was typically done by one person, and they would have a challenging task because they would have to consider all the rules in order to make an efficient schedule. There was also the need to be able to manually shuffle everything around if it needed to be expedited for a specific customer order. As we learned more, we considered that the software tool that would really be useful here would be Ignition. Because of Ignition's ability to have integration with such systems as ERP, the integration with plant floor devices for real-time information, as well as visualizing the information through perspective, we thought Ignition was the winning combination. As we learned more, we understood that there was certain scheduling factors and product definitions that had to be considered for the solution. This included things like product families, what they were. Typically, they need to be grouped into changeovers that are shorter and the quality is better.
I got this mountain of information back from Trioworld, and I took it and I basically went and holed up in a room with a whiteboard and set about trying to figure out how I could make this work. Ultimately, from looking at all of it, I decided that I needed to give them control over things. They needed to be able to adjust the weightings of those different parameters to really feed the information back to the algorithm to say what's most important to them. The algorithm can then take those weightings, apply it to the calculations that it does when determining what the best path is, and then use all of that to create what the best path is and create that schedule for them. It also takes into account what the different start times are, because Trioworld doesn't get to just say, I'm scheduling for tomorrow. They have a 24/7 operation going on, which means that they need to continuously be able to update that schedule. they don't get a convenient little break to say, okay, everything's starting at 10 a.m., schedule. We have to look at, okay, this line's starting at 10:30, this one's starting at 11:30, this one's 12:45, and take that into account when we consider what our different pathing options are. Ultimately, their scheduling needs are complicated. Every single product and line combination is unique. You have different run times according to what line you run a product on. You have different line preferences for each individual product. You have different needs depending on what product was running when you want to run this next one. All of these things lend itself to a very complex set of options that you have available to you. And when you also add in all these different deadlines and new production requirements that are suddenly popping up, I'm honestly very impressed at the scheduler's capabilities before we were able to automate things further.
Once we implemented the scheduling solution on Ignition, we had a period where we trialed out and tuned parameters to fit Trioworld's needs.
We took a 2-week period baseline where we automated the schedule and we also manual scheduled at the same time. From that trial, we validated that we had 34% more production hours in our schedule, equating to closely to 5 days for new orders to be scheduled. We also saw the decrease of late orders in that period as well. So with those results, we deemed that it was ready to go to production and share with the production schedule and team. The outcomes of this, we realized other opportunities for the Ignition tool in our environment to integrate with our production schedule to further automate it, but also other pieces of the business that could leverage the tools and the technology that we have enabled for us to move forward with further in our business along.
There was a big impact that the scheduling tool had made.
With the new tool, the way that they can go about scheduling is they can either manually add orders or they can import it directly from their ERP system. When the orders get imported into their system, they can then choose to modify what they want the due date to be, how much they want to pull from stock, and when they're happy with how all of that looks, they go to the schedule page and they press one button, schedule, and it does it for you. It takes a moment, fills out your entire schedule for you, and then the scheduler gets to review it. They can choose to select any order to see more information in terms of where it's put. They can manually adjust it, move it to another line, a different time, and they can assign those orders. And what assigning does is it locks it in place. As I mentioned earlier, they have a 24/7 process, which means we need a way to know what they want to keep and what's going to get thrown out when they go to schedule again. So the way that we do that is with assignment. They get to say, yep, this part I like, and this other part we can get rid of it the next time that we schedule. I'm not sure about it just yet. And anything that they assign then shows up on production screens. So people on the floor get to see what schedulers have assigned, what's good to go, and operate accordingly. We also get feedback from the production floor by way of some scanners so that we get updated information about what they've produced so far, and then we can update the schedule with that information so they keep that constant updating flow of information on the schedule, and they can react to changes accordingly. Moving forward in the future, they're hoping to also use production screens more directly so that their operators can specifically update when they start or finish things, and they would also then have the flexibility to note when they're deviating from the schedule. So if they need to run a different order or start one out of order, they would be able to do so with those production screens.
After the implementation of the production scheduling tool, Trioworld really seen more of the value of how Ignition could be used. And Ignition was expanded into other functionalities within the production facility, including production execution, integration to print barcodes on the production floor, as well as quality control operation solutions. This really opened the door for Trioworld to explore how Ignition could be utilized elsewhere. There was also a team set up internally within Trioworld to develop on these types of solutions.
Since the introduction of Ignition, it provided us a structure and a tool to support this very critical business need. A lot of it was challenging, it was paper-based with manuals, and now it allows us and the production scheduling team to handle those critical dependencies.
For us, Ignition is more than just a SCADA. It is an all-in-one industrial platform that offers immense values to our customers. It has allowed our customers to focus on their operational challenges and dream of their ideal solutions to fit their needs without being hindered by technical limitations of a platform.